Okay, so from this progression, let's go ahead and write the bass voice first. We can tell that from the Roman numerals. We have a new inversion of 2/7 here that we're using. Okay, so here's our bass line. We can also do a contextual analysis and show how the phrase is evolving. Okay, so we start with a tonic chord. This is what function chord? Predominant. Going to a dominant and back to tonic. But this is early in the phrase, so this predominant-dominant progression is actually all within the tonic expansion at the beginning of the phrase. And there are many ways of elaborating on a one chord and doing very interesting things like this progression, and then going towards a goal, the end of the phrase. Okay, so here, you don't have to label this, but it's helpful to notice we do have within this tonic expansion, okay, just going from a one chord back to a one chord, we have a nested predominant-dominant progression. Okay, so that's how the phrase is evolving. Tonic, and back to tonic, and now the phrase is predominant. We're leading to the end, tonic. Okay, let's get the upper voices written now. So, what note do you want to start with the melody? If we go to a 2 chord, we want to use smooth motion. It's not bad to have a leap, but this progression especially likes smooth motion. If we do that, where is the soprano likely to go? Could go to B flat, or it could go to D, either one of those. The alto would go to, we've already got F, so alto should go to G. Okay, so there's alto. And then tenor should go to what? Let's see, B flat is going to be its near, if alto's going to G, then tenor should go to the B flat. Notes off here. So, okay, tenor goes to B flat, so soprano goes to D. There's our smoothest voice leading progression. What's the problem?
You can't resolve parallel.
Fifths. Okay. Now, without just drastically changing things, we could send the voices in the same direction and keep that smooth motion. So instead of a fifth here, what if we just switch these two voices and put, let's say, soprano on F and alto on C. Same voice leading. Okay, C is going to D, F is going to G, but now I don't have parallel fifths, I have parallel fourths. Okay, the inversion of a fifth. I just flip the order of those notes, and I don't have parallel fifths anymore. So that's an easy fix. Okay, this is an interesting sounding chord. Okay, a lot of tension in that chord. Yeah. Okay, so we've written 1 to 2 4 2, and in this progression, smooth motion is a good idea. When we see this in music, it's usually doing this kind of progression. Every voice is moving up, so we could have parallel fifths, but if we make sure that fifth is written as a fourth, like this, then no problem. Okay, so everyone steps up, except the bass, and then we're going to go to 5 6 5. All right, so again, let's go for smooth motion in this progression as well. Let's go in each voice to the nearest note we can. If there's 2 options, let's think of both options and then choose one based on where everyone else goes. So, soprano is on G, re. Where will it go in our 5 6 5 chord?
G.
Okay, it can stay there. Yeah, that's in a C chord. Okay, alto. C. Okay, could also step up to E, but we've already got E in the bass. So alto is going to go to C. Tenor. Stay there. Okay, very smooth motion. Bass moved and alto moved, and the other 2 stayed on the same note. Okay. and then we know where this is going to go. The bass is going to lead up. Okay. Sing the tenor. Mi. Here we go. Mi, fa, fa. Where's it going to go next? Mi. Yeah, good. Yeah, and yeah, so leading tone, and that's the 7th of the chord as well, so that makes sense. Let's see, alto, or will alto go in this one chord now? C. C. And soprano. Down to F. Okay. We're back where we started. Same chord.
On the 7th chord, regardless of it's a 2-7, a 3-7, whatever, the 7th of the chord always goes straight down.
True. Yes. Ooh, that's a good point. This is a 7th chord. Which note is the 7th? Is it resolving down?
Yeah.
Okay. 2, 4, 2. So the 7th is in the bass, and there it is. And because of that, actually, 2, 4, 2 always goes to 5. The first inversion 5 chord. Usually it's 5, 6, 5, 2, just because of that common tone. Where's soprano going to go? It could stay on F. Okay. Alto. Okay, yep. D. Other option would be B flat, but tenor should probably go to what note? That should go to the B flat. Yeah, so let's put alto on D. Okay, now cadential 6/4. So when we write this, if you want to think of this as, this is going to seem like a 1-6-4 chord at first, and use that to get the correct notes in the chord, that's a good idea. That's a good shortcut. You could also think of this as, hey, this is root position 5. One note's going to be a 4th above the bass. Another note's going to be a 6th above the bass. There's a few more steps in that thought process than just thinking of a 1 chord. Either way, whatever works. Okay, so we have so in the bass. What will the notes of this chord be on this beat? So, mi, do. Mm-hmm. Yep. Do, mi, so. It's a 1 chord in disguise, or it's actually a 5 chord in disguise. It looks like a 1 chord at first. So, soprano. What can it do? Stay on F. Yep. That's do. Okay. Alto. C. Okay. That is so. And when we do that, we have 2 so's now. There's 2 C's in the chord, which is good. That's the note that we want to double in a 6/4 chord. Okay, and then tenor now. We go to A. Notice that we don't have much motion in this chord. Because of the cadential 6/4, we actually didn't have any problem with parallel motion. The cadential 6/4 actually can help you avoid parallel fifths, and composers use it for that reason. Okay, now these voices, the 6th and the 4th above the bass, are going to resolve down. So let's see, which one is the 6th above the bass? Tenor. Okay. Yep, it's going to step down, and the notes that they go to should be notes of a 5 chord. So we'll double check that. The 4th above the bass is what voice? Soprano. Mm-hmm. And then the alto is just going to hang around there on C. And notice here we've got C, G, another C, and E. Here's our 5 chord. Okay, let's pick a voice. Everyone pick a voice and let's sing this progression. Tenor, alto. Okay, sounds good. All right, so here we have 4, then, okay, it's got all the notes of a 1 chord, but we can hear this chord does not sound resolved. It needs to resolve, and there it's the 5 chord. First of all, let's remember what suspensions work well on what. chords. 4-3 suspensions work well on what? Root position or inverted chords? Usually root position. They're possible on some inverted chords, but they work best on root position chords. Okay, 7-6 suspensions work well on root position or inverted? Inverted. And then 2-3. Okay, I drew a line here between 2-3 and the rest of them. What's different about the 2-3 suspension? Okay, it's in the bass, yeah. So the bass voice is the one doing the suspending, bass only. And remember, suspensions are always downward resolving. So all of these are numbers going down, 4-3, 7-6. But this one, 2-3, is not a downward resolving number, but that's because it's the bass. When the bass descends, the interval between it and the other voice gets larger. So that's why that suspension is labeled that way. So bass only. It could work on root position or inverted, but best on inverted chords. On the beat, you have a note that does not belong to the chord, and it's going to step down to a note that does belong to the chord. All right, so because it steps down, we're looking for downward stepping motion in our part writing for a place to add a suspension. Where can we do that? Sopranos going up and then down. Okay, so yeah, let's see if this works. So if we have the soprano arrive on this F late, and we're going to either tie, or you don't have to have the tie. Yeah, soprano steps down. Let's see if that works. What interval above the bass is this? Second, what? 9, yeah, 9th or 2nd. 9/8 suspension. Okay, 9/8s usually work best on root position chords, which is what we've got, so okay. 9/8 suspensions often go well along with other suspensions. Could we add another suspension to that one chord? Yeah, tenor is also stepping down, so let's make it arrive late. Okay, so again, I'm going to move this A, and I'm going to hold on to the previous note a little bit too long. Oh, whoops, that's not it. B flat. Okay, that B flat from the previous chord is holding, and then it steps down to the one chord. Non-chord tone to chord tone. Okay, so here's the sound we've got. So the upper voice is resolved down. Actually, the bass was the only voice that moved now because everyone else is holding. 5, 6, 5, 1, and everyone steps down. Okay, suspensions sound so nice. They sound wonderful when they're in the right place. What suspension is this? What interval above the bass? 4-3. Yep. 4-3. Let's add a bass suspension. Where could we add a bass suspension? Matt?
Beats 1 and 2, or beats 2 and 3, first measure.
Okay, yeah, and actually that's the only place here, because that's the only place where the bass is stepping down.
I was actually going to ask, can you do a 2-3 suspension there? Because even though it's not a first inversion chord.
It is.
Oh, it is. I'm blind.
Yeah, actually, yeah, we're lucky here. Here we can do a bass suspension, because yeah, this is a first inversion chord. So yeah, let's, again, same process, make the bass hold on to this note too long, and step down. So this non-chord tone, you can tie it or not. Okay, so there we have the 2-3 suspension. This is a second below what note in this chord? The G, yeah. So actually it's a 9th, but same idea. This is the 2-3 suspension. Here's the sound. One with suspended one chord. All right, good. Yeah.
Aren't suspensions supposed to be left by step down?
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Yeah, they all are here.
I was looking at the next.
Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah, the suspension is the first note there on the beat. That's the non-chord tone, and then it steps down. Okay, good.